Once there was a young man traveling around the country selling goods. Time was very hard, and every day he sold less and less until he didn't have any money at all. On the same day that they ran out of money and food, he came across a small village. He thought that in a village he would find some who would give him a bit food. He knocked at the door of a pretty looking house. A woman opened the door slightly. The young man asked the woman if she had a little food to spare for the very young travelers, but sadly the woman answered that she had no food at all. Curiously, the same thing happened at all the houses in the village. There was not even a scrap of bread left in the entire village. The young man was not discouraged. Instead, he came up with a plan. The young man found a wealthy-looking house in the center of the village. An elderly man answered the door. The young man asked him if he had a large pot of water that he could spare. The old man asked him what he wanted for. The young man explained that he was so sad about the lack of food in the village that he was going to make a big pot of soup for all the villagers from a special stone he had found on his travel. And gave the young man a large pot of water and a stirring spoon and helped him build a big fire next to his house. The young man took a smooth stone out of his bag and put it in the pot of water. As he stirred the water, the young man mentioned to the old man that his magic soup was always better with a little onion and a head of cabbage to add extra flavor. A neighbor who was putting out her washing smelled the onions and the cabbage cooking. She went to the old man's house where she was told about special soup made of stone. The young man who was stirring the soup mentioned that the magic soup was always very good, but that a little bit of meat, perhaps a carrot and some potatoes, would add some extra flavor. So the woman went into her house and returned with a chunk of meat, a bunch of carrots, and a sack of potatoes. A little girl who was playing in the street smelled the soup and became curious about the smell. She went to the old man's house. The young man stirred the soup and mentioned to the girls that the magic soup was always very good, but it would be even better with a few beans and a pinch of salt and pepper. So the girls ran into her house and returned with a bowl of beans and some salt and pepper and added them to the pot of soup. The woman from the first house where the young man had asked for food was in her garden collecting some herbs and mushrooms. She smelled the soup and became curious about the smell. So she walked down the lane to the old man's house. The young man stirred the soup some more and mentioned that the magic soup was always very good, but that a few mushrooms and some herbs from her basket would add even more flavor. The woman gladly added her ingredients to the soup. While the soup was cooked and everyone had a bowl of delicious stone soup, no one could believe that such as a flour-some soup could be made from just a stone. The young man served another bowl of soup and smiled to himself.